Hey there, Capricorn. How are you today? My name is Sherilyn, and I'm here to do your weekly tarot reading. This one is going to be for Monday, August 11th through Thursday, August 14th. I'll be back on Wednesday to do bonus readings, like always, to get you through your weekend. That was a heck of a shuffle, wasn't it? Let's try one more time. This reading right here is going to be for my Capricorns. Let's see. Okay. Let's see what we got. We're just going to pull cards and see what Spirit wants to talk about. Okay? All right. This one's for Capricorn. Capricorn. Got it? Okay. From the top, let's see what you got. We are starting with the Nine of Pentacles. Okay. Followed by the Magician. And then the High Priestess. So this is your backstory or your recent past. Currently, I have you with the Eight of Cups, the Justice card, and the Nine of Wands. In the near future, we're looking at the Lovers, the Nine of Swords, and the Six of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck for this reading is actually the Seven of Swords. Okay, Capricorn. Seven of Swords as the bottom of the deck here with the other cards I'm seeing out here right now. So it would seem that something has happened that has made you lose faith in a situation. You don't trust a situation anymore. You don't trust the situation or the people involved. People, person, whatever, however that works out for you. Okay? The trust in that particular dynamic is like, right now it's just not there. Okay? That's the undercurrent to this reading. The card at the center of the read is almost like the polar opposite, or it's like the answer to that, right? Which is telling you it's justice. So it's telling you that the scales will be balanced out here, okay? They will. It may not feel like it right now, but they will. So that's where we're at so far. So we'll see how these two play in as we go through this. Let's start with the recent past. Okay, Nine of Pentacles, the Magician, and the challenge is the High Priestess. So Nine of Pentacles is saying that here in the recent past, you were definitely standing in your independence, okay? You didn't need anybody. You may have picked somebody you wanted, but you didn't need them, you know what I'm saying? Nobody was necessarily telling you what to do. You're very independent nature here in the recent past. But the Magician next to that, this is something you had seriously manifested. You had manifested this sense of independence. You didn't want to be dependent on anybody or to have to need people. No doubt that's a defense mechanism of some kind, but that's a whole different story, right? Different reading, different day. The challenge here is the High Priestess. So the challenge here had something to do with secrets. Really, that's what it did. I mean, intuitively, that's how I feel about this one. So I don't know if they were your secrets, meaning were you keeping secrets from the person that you were trying to connect with here? Or were they their secrets that they were keeping from you? It kind of feels more like it was their secrets that they were keeping from you. At any rate, whatever the deal was. So you've manifested this independence, you're standing in this independence, but obviously you came into contact with somebody who you were trying to build some sort of connection with, and it looks as though secrecy in general became the stumbling block there, okay? All right, so that's your past. We couldn't change it if we wanted to, but whatever. It's still affecting whatever's going on today, right now, okay? So currently, where are you at? Well, currently you have the Eight of Cups, Justice, and then the challenge is the Nine of Wands. So Eight of Cups and Justice. Eight of Cups is all about walking away from something. It's about leaving something behind, even though you still have emotion for it. It's just you leave it behind because you feel like it's no longer serving you or it's no longer in your best interest to stay part of it. I get the feeling that it is you that walked away, but I feel like you were pushed away. And that's a weird thing to say, but it's like you didn't just wake up one morning and decide you didn't want to be there anymore. I feel like you were somewhat pushed out. But in the end, it's you that actually took the steps to walk away. So I feel like it's confusing for me to say it, and I feel like it's confusing for you to live it. Live it right now, you don't. It's just confusing in general. There was definitely a breakdown in the trust involved in this situation. Over secrecy. Okay, it wasn't over lies. It was over not being forthcoming with the truth. There is a little bit of a difference there. Yeah, anyways. The challenge right now for you is this feeling wounded. And it's hard for you to feel wounded when you're the one that walked away. That's why I said this is a very confusing dynamic. It's kind of like you were pushed, but in the end it was you that actually walked away. But then you're feeling wounded. So, you know, it's very hard for you to find closure right now because the situation feels very topsy-turvy, very not a lot of definite things to hold on to here. Everything seems kind of up in the air to me. And that's by design, but not by your design. It's by the other person's design, because this is how they're skating out of this whole thing, kind of. That's how I feel about it. I don't feel like they had nefarious intent coming into this, but I do feel like they had nefarious intent in the exit to make you responsible and them not, is how I'm seeing this right this second, at any rate. Okay, let's keep going. So that was current. Where do we have you in the near future? I have the Lovers, the Nine of Swords, and then the Six of Pentacles is going to be the challenge. I mean, this is a situation, like I said, this was a partnership you tried to bring together. It has not worked out the way that you wanted it to. I will say that I feel like in some ways it's as much your fault as it is theirs. I think this secrecy was quite possibly on both of your parts. Both of you were less than forthcoming with the truth. Both of you were kind of trying to play a game that you were sure you could win, and nobody won in the end. So this lover situation, you're all stressed out about it, right? The challenge here is the reciprocity. Without trust, or with, you know, how are you going to have equal give and take if you have no trust? Because they're never going to trust that the other person's putting in the right amount. This is a lesson, I think, in why you need to be honest, why you need to be forthcoming with the truth if you're going to expect it out of somebody, kind of deal. This was definitely a situation where the two of you, you and this other person involved here, were mirroring each other, but not in the most positive way, okay? It became a tit-for-tat type situation, but it's somewhat of a negative connotation or a negative sense. Okay, let's see. What do I have? Behind the Seven of Swords, I have the Queen of Wands, and then I have the Tower. Yeah. People here went after what they wanted without bothering to be mindful of how it was going to affect everything else involved. So they went after what they wanted without honesty, or without, you know, they required honesty but weren't willing to give it. This was definitely a lesson. This entire dynamic right here was a lesson, I think. It caused a Tower. That's a given, right? Let's see what else you got here. We've got the Knight of Pentacles, the Five of Wands, and the King of Swords. So this is you trying to act very intelligent but very cold towards the situation, right? You're saying you never had any feelings here anyways. Well, there aren't a lot of cups here, I'll give you that, but I think you did have feelings at one time. I think you still do, but I don't think... There's also a lot of ego here. There is a lot of ego, and there's a lot of inner conflict with the Five of Wands. There's some competition involved here somehow. I'm not sure if it's for one of you or both of you. Probably both of you, because it seems like you guys are pretty evenly yoked as far as this tit-for-tat situation. And with the Knight of Pentacles, it's like nobody's really making any movements forward. Y'all are thinking about it. You're thinking about it. They're thinking about it. Everybody's just sitting stagnant, right? Hoping the other person will blink first. Okay, 3 more, and then I'll get to the days of the week. Sorry. So right now, what do we got? 4 of Pentacles. You're hanging on, even though I don't know what you're hanging on to, but you're trying to still energetically hang on to this person in the situation. 8 of Swords. You're locked in a mental prison because whether you want to admit it to me or anybody else or not, you're as much to blame for this as they are. This was definitely evenly put into this. It just was. And 3 of Swords is because now you're saying you're heartbroken. How could you be heartbroken if you just told me you had no feelings? But there you go. That's kind of how this is going. Monday, I've got the 7 of Wands and the 10 of Swords. Both of you are viewing this as a betrayal. And so now you're both defensive. Okay? Because I told you, it is kind of from both sides. Ace of Wands and the 10 of Wands. It's turned into a very heavy burden. And there's a lot of anger now involved in this situation. And you guys are as angry with yourselves as you are with the other person, but you're projecting it out. Wednesday, I have the Knight of Swords and the 4 of Swords. You do need time to heal from this, and you definitely need to try to find a sense of clarity. And Thursday, I have the 5 of Cups and the Page of Swords. I see the two of you both feeling a sense of loss and regret, and neither one of you wanting to come forward and swallow your egos. And so I think you're both going to try to keep tabs on each other. You know, you're trying to play chicken right now and see who will blink first. That's pretty much what y'all are doing, which is silly, but, you know, everybody's got to play something, I suppose. I don't know. All right, Capricorn, that's what I got. I don't mean to be harsh, but it just seems kind of silly and redundant to me. At any rate, no matter what the cards say, go out and make it the best week you possibly can, right? I'll be back on Wednesday with bonus readings. That's pretty much it. If you're looking for a private reading, send me a message. I'll get you the details. I'll never reach out to you first. If somebody does, that's not me. It's a scam, so treat it accordingly. That's that, okay? All right, you guys. Thank you.